The Disaster Management Authority, a total joke. The Disaster Management Authority is set up under the Disaster Management Act 2005. In section 2E of the Disaster Management Act 2005, disaster management is defined thus. Disaster management means a continuous and integrated process of planning, organizing, coordinating and implementing measures which are necessary or expedient for 1. Prevention of danger or threat of any disaster, 2. Mitigation or reduction of risk of any disaster or its severity or consequences, 3. Capacity building, 4. Preparedness to deal with any disaster, 5. Prompt response to any threatening disaster situation or disaster, 6. Assessing the severity or magnitude of effects of any disaster. These are all showing that it is not only from the beginning in anticipation, but also planning and preparing before the danger arrives. On the website of the North Goa Collector, there is a tab for disaster management which contains a PDF document called DDMP, the full form shown there as District Disaster Management Plan 2023. It runs into 227 pages. It is a beautiful document and shows that there is realization of the need for action before, which we call preparedness, then during and after a disaster. The state government has prepared a state disaster management plan running in 364 pages, beautifully laid out, and I am sure that there is a consultant whose name is laid out there, set out in the book, in that PDF file, who has done this work. But does all this work? Let me share some of my own experiences with the working of this Disaster Management Authority. Firstly, due to certain natural calamity, I called up the helpline of the Disaster Management Authority in the Collectorate North to inform about the landslide and consequential blocking of road at Atafode, Moira. I also gave the contact number believing that someone will contact. I repeated that contact number so that there would be no mistake. And guess what happened? Nothing. Nobody contacted my person. Nobody went to the site, and the locals had to manage to clear the mud, stones and the rubble and the debris by themselves. How does this Disaster Management Authority work? Is it only that they will make record of phone calls, enter in a book and sit there doing nothing? In another instance, due to a dangerously leaning tree, I wrote to the collector North Goa, bringing to her attention about this dangerously leaning tree, and she was quick enough to issue directions to the additional collector, who in turn issued a letter to the deputy collector at Mapsa, and I must compliment the deputy collector at Mapsa, Pandurang Gad, who worked very fast to obtain report from the forest department and thereafter issue his order. I saw that the report of the forest department said that the tree was diseased and likely to fall and needed to be cut. But what could he do thereafter? Nothing. He could not get the tree cut. Why was that? Because he has no tree cutter, he has no staff, he has no wherewithal for implementing his own order. I have realized that after discussing with officials that the Disaster Management Authority has absolutely no setup nor personnel available even to clean a drain. I am given to understand that deputy collectors have been authorized to spend 5 lakhs per constituency. How does this work out? The fire brigade on its part will not touch a live tree standing unless the tree has fallen down. That means the tree will fall, the house will be crushed or damaged, and someone will have to die, and then the fire brigade will come, or the tree will fall across the road and probably knock down somebody who is passing by or crush someone in a vehicle, and then the fire brigade will come to cut that tree. This is so ridiculous. It cannot happen like this. It must be an outdated textbook manual which the fire brigade must be using. I think they need to revise their action so that they can work even in case of impending disaster, exactly as provided under the Disaster Management Act. One more incident I need to mention is what happened in Ukasai in my constituency. In Ukasai, after the underground electricity cabling work had been completed, soling had been done for restoration of the road at Pajir near the Ukasai Panchayat. Suddenly at night, after the first shower, we got frantic calls that whole lot of mud and stones had entered a house and that the filling had been washed out. Despite the heavy rain, I went there the next day at the site and saw that even the cars which were parked outside the house were virtually stuck between the portion near the house with the trench on the other side, making it a scary sight. I called up the Sarpanch Riya Mayakar, who came despite the rain and saw the mess and assured to have the water drain cleaned by evening. And true to her word, she had it cleaned, and even photographs were sent to me showing the clean drain. If this work was done in advance and in time, such disaster could have been avoided. There needs to be firstly a risk assessment, secondly an anticipated action, C, quick response when situation arises, fourthly quick delivery on all fronts. Merely conducting meetings and passing resolutions with tea and buttered vada does not help. To make the Disaster Management Authority effective, there needs to be a 24/7 into 365 days assessment, evaluation, preemptive action where warranted, and preparations for handling of seasonal issues arising year after year. A lot of pre-monsoon works were found wanting in municipal or panchayat areas. Has the government and the disaster management authorities identified the places where disaster is likely to occur? Have these authorities attended to consequences of hill cutting? Have these authorities seen the consequences arising out of rampant land fillings? Have the authority identified other causes of flooding or waterlogging due to non-cleaning of gutters and drains, or the blockage of natural water flow by construction of compound walls? Has the Disaster Management Authority also examined that there is no provision for gutters and drains? We have seen what happened in Mapsa, a tragedy which was waiting to happen clearly because the drains were not cleaned and the gutters were clogged. This is not new only in Mapsa, this has happened across entire state, where we had reports coming not only in municipal areas but also in panchayat areas, this situation happening. I request the government to immediately hold a meeting and take stock of the action taken in preparedness of the forthcoming monsoon and ensure proper funds are provided, else we will get reports of tragedies after tragedies day after day.